in today. You guys don't think that's funny, do you? He said, huh? Well, we didn't talk about that specifically. We talk every week, just in general, just about a lot of things. And as I said, I have a lot of respect for his vantage point and things he's accomplished. Obviously, he had a lot to do. He had everything to do with me coming here the first time as assistant coach. And so, how he ran the program, how he does things now. And so we try to visit at least once a week. But he didn't want to come in here and talk to y'all. So he said, I don't have to do that anymore. I said, yeah. So, but I tried to get him. Go ahead. What do you guys got?
You say he missed us?
No, he doesn't miss that. I think he got a workout in. He works out in our new deal. He's got a locker in our locker room. I think, Mike started that, getting him back, and comes over here, works out, and I think he's getting his handicap down. So he's probably headed over to one of the mini golf courses around here today with a big smile on his face. He gets to enjoy all the wins now, no matter what. Doesn't have to deal with the other part, which he's earned that.
All right, questions over here to the far right, Gabe.
Coach, could you take us through the challenge that your defense will be presented with? Totally different style in SMU, a team that's going to try to commit to running the football.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Anybody who's watched them play this year knows that, and their style of play. Wherever Brett was at Wisconsin, obviously the way they want to play the game is to line it up and run it at you, and here comes the play action pass off of it. So that's been his style, which has been extremely successful, not just kind of worked, extremely successful in the Big Ten. And, there's no reason for him to go away from that. And creates a attitude and how he wants to play the game, how they want to play the game, offensively and defensively. So, I don't see that changing at all, since that's been their formula for success, and proven formula for success. Got two good backs that they'll run at you in lines, very, very solid. And defensively, right now, it's hard to argue with their production. The two defensive ends, they lead the league in sacks. I don't know if they may lead the country in tackles for loss and disruptive plays. So that's a signature of I think, the way Brett's done things, being physical up front, running the football, being disruptive on defense, and getting after you. So, yeah, it'll be a different game. I think our transition from Alabama to SMU last week in a completely different style of game, with them throwing it 62 or 67 times, and the way our defense played, I was very, very pleased with that. We're going to have to make a transition again. That's what this league's all about. Down the road, you see all kinds of different offenses, and I think the diversity in the SEC right now offensively is a challenge for every team as you face it. But moving from different styles back and forth is a big challenge too. I am encouraged by what I saw last week from a communication standpoint. I think you take for granted, just because a guy is a good player, or a guy plays, even if he's young, you're put in situations where you have to communicate. And the ability to adjust during a game is one thing. I've said it before. For coaches to adjust, it's one thing. For players to adjust, it's another thing. And when you get Kirby back on the field, and you get Jenkins back on the field, even the Shazer moving to safety, the Shazer and Howard and Devontae and Otis, all four of those guys in the back end, and Tony Hurd playing nickel, all five of those guys have game experience from a year ago at least, and understand the defense. And I think, the first couple games, when you've got true freshmen out there in Caesar and guys in different positions. You know, Shazer wasn't out there but a half. You got guys out there just trying to do their job and not communicating. You know, I was encouraged by how our defense not only played last week, but how they communicated better as a unit.
Down front, Cease.
Kevin, can you talk about where you're at place kick going in this game? And the onside kick, was that more you guys or something you saw in the film from SMU?
Well, we go into every game with a fake punt at least and a fake field goal. Whether we call it or not, it's different. You know, we just saw some things. We sit down on Sunday night and decide what the plan is special teams wise every week, and then we practice it. And if we need to use it, we'll use it. If we want to use it, we'll use it. And I just kind of felt like it was a situation that was there, and Coach Banks is always wanting to call something like that. So, you know, obviously we executed it. Place kicker wise, that what you asked, yeah, it's like everything else. I said Saturday that, you know, we're going to compete just like the first game. You know, we didn't name a starter for a quarterback for the first half until 5 o'clock on Friday. And I thought it was important for those guys to continue to compete, to do that. I think this is important also. And you've seen since we've been here over the last year and whatever games, 4 or 5, that what we're doing is based on competition, your ability to play, and playing the games is based on how you compete during practice and your success rate during practice, and you know, so you know that's where we are, and that will continue to be the case, and you know, it's not going to change this week or really the next week. So, you know, it's a work in progress, and you know, I think there's some things both guys do that are positive, but in this business, life pays off on results. So, you know, that's where it is.
Right down front here, Christy. Why don't we get Christy first, then we'll get Kate.
What has impressed you most about Malcolm Kennedy's development since you've gotten here?
I haven't been surprised. I think, impressed. I think, you know, the first half of the season, he sat behind Ryan Swope, and Ryan really did a lot. You know, really, he started coming on, and the breakout moment was Alabama with the touchdown catch, and I think that helped his confidence moving forward. And you know, the off season, I don't think. I know this: nobody had a better off season than him. He had a great off season, and players saw that. I think you know, he's continued to work to become a complete player, and you know, he's a guy that was a high school quarterback that usually takes you a little bit longer in transition than a guy who's played the position the whole time. So he's, you know, he's playing very, very well for us. And like I said, his off season, his leadership during the summer, I think was critical with a bunch of young guys. And then, you know, to see that paying off, I think our guys understand that kind of hard work and everything else that he's put into it, you can work yourself into being a really, really good player. And I'm happy that he's having the success that he's having.
We'll go here to Kate and then Brent.
Hey, Coach. The last couple of weeks we've talked about Mike Evans and even what he's able to do when he doesn't have the ball. I think he had a big block on Kennedy's touchdown.
That's the only time y'all notice it is when we
People
score.
score, correct.
Yeah, but he does it all the time.
Well, that's what kind of, obviously you guys place an emphasis on it. How do you build that mentality and work on it?
I think Coach David Beatty does an excellent job. We chart those. Our guys take pride in that. You know, you get a lot of outside criticism about spread offenses and being soft. And I think our guys take that personally. You know, I don't hear a lot of people saying that about our team. And there's probably a reason for that, just because I think our guys do play hard. And I think the biggest transition for a receiver coming into this offense, because we've recruited some guys that are highly recruited, but understanding the need to play without the ball. And that's maturity, that's growing up, that creates big plays. And the difference between 6-7 yard runs or things on the perimeter is the ability to block. And, I said it last year, and you've heard David Beatty say it: if you don't block, you don't play. And that's probably the easiest way to motivate people, because they do like to play. We got a bunch of them that can play, but they're growing up. And I think when you're in a program and after a year where you watch video of Ryan Swope, and you watch video of as a young player, of Mike Evans, and we're just talking about Malcolm, and the young guys look up and say, hey, they get all the notoriety because of big plays you see on ESPN, but when you sit in here and watch their effort when they're on the backside, or when we got big plays, or there's something else going on, it says a lot to the younger players on this team of the importance of what they do. And like I said, Mike Evans, you guys asked me 2 weeks ago, was I surprised? I've been not surprised at all. I've told you that. I watch that every day. So, DeShazer's battles with him every day during two-a-days, and it gets ugly at times between the two of them. And they are competing to make each other better. And I think as your program gets better, you want that at every position.
Okay, here, Brent.
Nate Askew told us earlier how happy he is to be getting action as a senior. How proud are you of him for the what seems like to be a pretty smooth transition that he's made to linebacker?
Well, he's it just like I said, you come into a program and he's a guy that's got that much talent. I just hated him standing there next to me during the game, and we're playing all these guys, and a guy with that kind of talent, you try to find a way to help your football team and help that guy. And sometimes it's fit, sometimes it's transition. You never know what it is, and you hope that it works out. As a coach, my philosophy has always been, hey, let's not give up on the guy. Let's try to find something for him. If we exhaust everything that we can with a guy that can run that fast, that's 230 pounds, 6'4", and I watch him 40-some inch vertical jump. We're going to go out and try to recruit that guy every year, and hope we can get him, because he's going to be highly recruited. We got the guy in the program. Let's just try to find a place where he can help us. And if we can't find a place for him, then we can sleep at night knowing that we've tried to do the best that we can. So, we sat down and talked to Nate about that. He was struggling at receiver. He was struggling with the route concepts, handling and catching the ball. Heck, he's catching the ball better on defense now than he was. I don't know. He's already scored more touchdowns than he's. I give him a hard time about that, but he doesn't think that's funny, by the way. But again, that's one more touchdown than he's probably scored since I've been here. It's a good thing for him, and I think you've seen across the country some guys make that transition. I said, there's the kid at UCLA that's an All-American. They moved from offense to defense. It's really, really good player. And maybe if we'd have made the transition early, he'd be a little bit better. But I think he's embraced it. He's playing with confidence. Has he made some mistakes? Sure, but he's moving along that way. And I think the biggest positive is that he is helping us as a team more than he was helping us at wide receiver.
Suzanne.
To talk some more about Nate, have you ever, you would think you'd look at a kid that big, or why didn't you try him at safety? And I've seen tight ends switch to linebackers, but did you ever think he'd make a great strong safety, or was it linebacker all the way?
I don't think he transitions well enough to be back in the back end.
Have you ever switched a wide receiver to anything other than a DB before now?
No, but we didn't have a bunch of 235-pound wide receivers at Houston.
We'll go to the
We
back.
had Patrick Edwards, who was 165.
All right,
But he
KL.
seems to be doing all right, too, with Lions. So,
Coach, you frequently in this room with us talked about things that absolutely did not surprise you. Anything this season that has struck you as quite a surprise so far?
oh, there's a bunch of stuff that surprised me.
Anything in particular?
I don't know. I think, every year you've got guys who y'all think are going to play for us and are highly rated guys. I think, we've had some guys come out of the woodwork that, just talk about high school ratings, guys that were highly rated guys that aren't playing for us, and some guys that are, 3-star guys or whatever that are playing a lot of snaps for us. And that just goes to show you that evaluation process is important. And as I sit down and talk to these guys, redshirting does not mean you can't play. And I try to remind our fans of that, and I remind our kids of this and parents. I've been around guys that, we got two of the best players in the country on this team that redshirted on offense, and Mike Evans and Johnny. And I left the program where first pick of the draft and the Heisman Trophy winner and Sam Bradford redshirted as a freshman. So because you redshirt does not mean you can't play. It means you might not be ready to go right now. And then because of circumstance, maturity, whatever, homesick, however you handle the system. And so when you sign 31 new guys, they all can't get on the field. So, the ability to, yes, we talk about all the guys who are playing, but there's another group of guys who want to play who are not and struggle with that. So we have to, that's the other part of college football. You've got to develop guys and understand. Last week we talked about what your role is and understanding your role and how you're going to help this team. So, yeah, there's been some surprises from that standpoint, I think, for everybody concerned of, I get the emails and letters, where's so-and-so? And he's still here. He's getting better. But, like I said, we play the best guys because of their ability to help us win. And that doesn't mean because he's not playing, doesn't mean that that's not going to be the case.
Over here to the right, Homer.
Coach, how much has Johnny improved just checking out of bad plays, getting guys into good plays? I was talking to Malcolm Kennedy, and he said sometimes he'll check mid-snap.
Mm-hmm.
So how much has he improved that?
That's not another surprising thing. I explained that during fall camp. His knowledge of the system in year two is and should be better than it was last year. And to think conceptually instead of just route-wise or one thing at a time has been the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge for anybody. And I think you've seen Malcolm Kennedy do that. I think you see that with Mike Evans now. I think you see that with a lot of the players that were just playing their position last year. They understand the offense. They understand the route concepts and instead of just what they're doing. And in order to do that, you also have got to understand what the defense is trying to do because of the changes in the route based on what we see. So, you have to start thinking like a coach. And, I was very, very pleased with some of the things that he did last Saturday from a change the play standpoint. We're not where we were with Case Keenum 6 years ago. I mean, a couple years ago, he's a sixth-year guy, and they're probably 25% of the game. We just gave him the formation and pointed at him. That's a whole different situation. When you can do that 1 out of every 4 plays, then you feel really, really good about your quarterback. But he's getting there, and I think he made some changes last Saturday night that show that he's progressing and he's comfortable in the offense, and I like the direction that we're headed as a team from a communication standpoint, and that comes with experience.
Time for a couple more. Right here, Sam.
How long do you expect Ricky SealsJones to be out?
Who?
Ricky SealsJones, how long do you expect him to be out?
I don't know. I mean, he had surgery
Friday.
last Friday. He just called me, wanted to go on the trip this weekend. It's going to be hard to do that just because of the time frame from surgery. From a doctor's standpoint, you know, you don't want anything to happen from a swelling or clotting situation. So, you know, I would anticipate it. The decision hasn't been made completely, but I would anticipate the possibility of a medical red shirt because he falls in that category. I sat and talked with him. You know, I talked with his dad, talked with him last week, and you know the situation is, yeah, he wants to play, but you know to lose a year where you come back from surgery, he has another spring. He gets really basically this whole experience back and has 4 more years, and that, like I told him, that seems to have worked out well for Mike Evans. So, you know, and it gets back to what I was talking about earlier. You know, just because you don't play your freshman year doesn't mean you can't play. And there's a lot of different circumstances in there, and you know, guys want to play, and I appreciate that. But you know, those kind of decisions are mutual, and I think he understands. After looking at, I would think that we're going to pursue the medical red shirt for him, and you know, he falls under that category.
Follow up.
What has Darren Claiborne shown you through camp and so far this season?
Well, he's shown us enough to start last week. So, you know, here's a guy that all he does is make plays. I look up and he's tackling guys on special teams. You know, he's runs over a guy, blocks one of the guys on the onside kick. I mean, he just loves to play football, and you know, he's out there now. I think he and Jenkins are extremely athletic and are good tacklers. And so, you know, the decision to play Darian last week, start him in that game was one that I think was a good one. And, you know, he's just like anything else. We'll see how he handles that, because you got to come back and compete this week. And you're only as good as your last performance or your next one around here. So, you know, he'll still keep competing. Donnie will keep pushing him. Jordan will keep pushing guys. You know, we got a bunch of guys over there that are competing for playing time with Nate and Sean Washington. They're all playing, and they're all giving us a real boost on special teams, which is something we did not have last year with the linebacker depth. You know, we basically played with 3 guys and hoped that none of them would get hurt, and played half of them on special teams. Now we've got 2 deep of guys that we can get in and out of the game, and that's really helped us, I think, on our special teams, particularly our coverage units, because we had them all available last Saturday, and I think you can see the difference on, you know, with getting starters back, getting guys back. I think it helps you, because now Caesar is a special teams player, not a starter and a special teams player. And Sean Washington, all those guys that were, you know, now they can play their full special team snaps and be backups and grow defensively. I think that's helped us.
All right, Coach. Thanks very
All right.
much.
Thank you.